Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tech Tuesday. My name is Levine, Cornerstone's tech guru, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Today, we'll be covering Mail Merge, which is a feature of the Microsoft Office suite that I think is really useful if you're trying to contact a bunch of different people at once. You've got to be a little bit careful about how you craft some of these due to the limitations of the software, but I think once you see what it can do, I think you'll be pretty impressed with it. So, first, some general housekeeping before we dive right in. And that is first, if you have a question, please feel free to pop it in that question box at the bottom of your little viewer screen. I've got it highlighted on the slide that should be showing. And if you have any questions, just put them there. We should be able to see it in real time. And if your question pertains to what I'm covering at the time, I will be happy to answer it right then and there. If not, I'll likely save it till the end, but I will promise to answer all your questions. Also, please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly after the presentation. If you have a question you don't feel like asking, or if maybe you have a general tech question that you don't think fits the theme of this presentation, you can reach out to me directly at tlevine@crnstone.com or by phone at 513-487-5390. I will also say the slide will be up at the end of the presentation as well, so don't feel like you've got to copy it down now. Also, don't forget about our 2021 incentive program. It is back and has all new prizes. Top qualifiers have a chance to win up to $5,000 and a travel voucher for a weekend getaway to a destination of your choice. You can qualify by earning points for new to Cornerstone group and individual medical and ancillary sales. You have to have a minimum of 2,000 points to be eligible for a cash reward and a chance to win the big bonus weekend getaway. But the top 20 qualifiers will earn cash, and brokers just register online in order to participate. That's on our website at www.crnstone.com/2021-incentive. And that link is also up there on the screen. The point earning period started January 1st of this year and will go all the way through December 31st, 2020. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and get writing and hopefully you will qualify. Also, now's a chance to remind you all about Autopilot. Never say no to a client with our Autopilot program. It is a compensation-based client referral program, and it offers the services of our licensed representatives to quote, enroll, support, and follow year-round service to clients that may fall out of the scope of your business, but to keep them on your radar. Under this program, you can focus on growing your business with the assurance that your clients will continue to receive the benefits of your market expertise and continued superior service and support. Our talented team will take care of your clients' health insurance needs for individual and family coverage, employee benefits, or Medicare solutions. To activate Autopilot today, just click on the link in the chat that'll pop up at the end there, or give us a call at 513-629-9358. So without further ado, let's get started. First, like I mentioned before, Mail Merge is sort of interesting in that it uses a bunch of different programs within the Microsoft Office suite. In order to actually do a Mail Merge, all you technically need is a draft written in your Outlook, along with a list of emails in your Outlook that you've already assembled. You don't actually need a Excel document or a Word draft like what we're going to show you today, but I think that's the easiest. It is possible for Outlook to do a mail merge all on its own, as long as you have a separate list and a draft email that you've already written up in Outlook, but I don't like that option personally. The reason for this is Outlook can be not the most user-friendly for setting up certain lists of data, and I think Excel actually allows you to work with lists of data and different variables a lot more easily. In order to set up sort of a smart mail merge, like what we're doing today, where you've got a lot of different things that you want to throw into a letter, this is the best way to make that customizable. The Outlook version really just sends out mass mailers, and it's not what we're looking for in a mail merge. So that's why I prefer to have a list of data in Excel like this one. All you really need to start and complete a mail merge is this email column. Before we get too far in, all the names and addresses of these companies and individuals were randomly generated. So any similarity or likeness to actual names or email addresses is purely coincidental. I have not tested any of these emails, and I'm actually running my Outlook in offline mode today to make sure that none of these emails that we're going to send actually go through. I really do not know if any of these emails exist, so be careful if you're trying to grab a list of marketing stuff from this. I'm pretty sure none of these companies are even real insurance companies either. I just sort of pulled them out of my head. But anyway, all you really need is this email address column. Those are the list of email addresses that our mail merge is going to send all of our emails to. I like to add in a little bit more data to make my mass emails a little more a little more flexible and a little more customizable. If you can't tell by this status column over here, we're actually going to be doing a mail merge example of like final, first, and second notices for overdue premium payments today. And I just figured that was a good general purpose use of mail merge, but realistically, you can use a mail merge for a lot more than that. Whenever I'm sending out mass mailers after a Tech Tuesday presentation, sort of like I had to do after the last one, I like to mail merge in this way as well to get any attendees' first and last name along with their email address on that email. As you can see, I've also included a prefix column. This is important just for what we're going to match here in the future. And then for some of my custom information, I have a due by date, status column, a company name column, a contact name column, and a contact number column. Now, you can call these columns whatever you want to, and as long as you have the data that you want listed, laid out sort of in this format, you're fine. Don't have your headers going down the left-hand side or the right-hand side of your worksheet, because the mail merge will match the top row as far as the row names, and you'll see that here in a second. It'll make a little bit more sense. The other thing you're going to need, other than an Outlook email address, is a Microsoft Word draft. This draft is just something I sort of threw together for today's presentation. Anywhere where you see X's on this draft are where we're going to be inserting merge fields today. And merge fields are those fields that are just sort of automated in a mail merge. So these are the fields that will be fully customizable. As you can see, I have my top line here in all X's. That's going to be where we insert our greeting or salutation. So it'll be something like, hello, Mr. and Mrs. What's your name? And things like that. I also have a section here where we're going to be inserting a company name. Section here where we're going to be inserting the notices for the number of attempts, along with a contact name and number to discuss a claim and a signature line. We're going to insert all of these automatically and then send our 10 test emails in Outlook. Now, I have my Outlook rearranged a little bit just for today's presentation. We're actually looking at the outbox over here. This outbox is something that I have because I've applied a delay to all of my outgoing emails with a rule. If you have any questions about email rules, we did actually do a presentation on this earlier on in the year. So Mail Merge sort of combines some of the features of Excel, Word, and Outlook that we've already covered. If you're interested in learning more about that, I'd highly recommend checking out our resource center. But we're going to go ahead and get started in our Word document today. Now, to initiate all of your mail merges, what you're going to do is you're going to have your Excel document laid out, you have your draft fully written, and you have your Outlook open. You don't have to be like on it if you use a dual screen setup. All you need is Word open right now. And actually, to make this a little easier to understand, I'm actually going to close out of my Excel data as well. Right quick. To initiate merge, we go to mailings, which is this tab up here. We'll go ahead and circle it for everyone, or spotlight it right up here. And then you click Start Mail Merge. Now, you can choose at this point what type of mail merge you're going to do. And you can actually mail merge letters, envelopes, labels, full directory, or, what we're going to do, emails. I select emails, and then it knows that we're going to merge to an email list. You can also use mail merge to create labels and envelopes, by the way. I don't have anything prepared for that today to show you, just because it's fully custom, and the lists that we would need to be using for those are a little bit more difficult to create. But it works pretty much exactly the same way. As long as you have all your contact information in an Excel list, you can merge to labels and then print them out on label sheets. That's actually how I send out all my holiday cards as well. Either way, once you select mail merge and you select what type of mail merge, you can then proceed in two different ways. You can start this mail merge using a mail merge assistant tool, or you can go through the steps one by one. I'm going to actually select the step-by-step mail merge wizard and walk through it this way. I think it provides a real good example of how you would walk through it. And then when we go back through this the second time, we're going to do it through just the menu. So first, we select email messages and click next on our wizard. And then it prompts us to select a starting document. Because we already have one open, we're going to say use the current document, but you can also start from a template. They do have a lot of different merge templates available on Excel and, well, not Excel, sorry, on the Microsoft website, or you can choose a different existing document. So you can just open up Word, say you're doing a mail merge, and then you can open a existing document you've already created. Next, we select our recipient list. Now you can select a list of recipients from your Outlook contacts. You can use an existing list, which is what we're going to do, or you can type a new list. If you hit type a new list, you'll have to create it using this little hyperlink below. An Outlook contact means you have to merge in your Outlook contacts folder. Or if you click use an existing list, then you can browse all over and find the list that you're referring to. I have mine saved to the desktop real quick, and it's mail merge data. I'm going to hit open. It'll then prompt you to select the worksheet that your data is available on from within your file. Mine is all available on sheet 1, so I'm going to click sheet 1 and then click OK. Then it'll bring up a list of your merge recipients. Now, as you can see, it selected every single column where there was data and every single row where there was data. You can tell that by this little check mark. Now, it included all of these blanks, including my disclaimer as well. And I don't want to email a bunch of blank contacts, or contacts, sorry. So I'm going to click on the check marks to unselect those options as part of the mailing list. So if you have maybe 1 or 2 email addresses on that list that you don't want to mass email, then you can just click here to take them off the list. Or you could delete them from the list in the first place before you merge your data. And then you click OK. That kind of binds the files together, by the way. So now that it's got a set of data to pull from, it now has merge fields. Next, we have to create our message. We can insert different blocks using these hyperlinks over here, but this is sort of where I think the walkthrough gets a little iffy. It's useful for inserting a greeting line, an address block, or something like that that's very basic. But if you're not going to do something very basic like what we're going to do next, you're going to have to start using this mailings tab up here. First, I'm going to insert a greeting line. Because this is a business email, we're not going to have a dear or addressed to a section of our greeting line. We're just going to start with a prefix and full name. That's this option here that says Mr. Joshua Randall Jr. It sort of walks you through what that sort of display is going to show. It actually is pulling these as an example generally, but as you can see below, I also have example lists of what the names are going to look like in my greeting line below here in the preview. And if I don't like what that's showing, I can click on the match field selection here. The match field selection is sort of what you use in order to match those columns I was talking about earlier with what exactly they mean. As you can see, it took prefix to be the courtesy title, first and last to be the first and last names, and then I have a suffix option, which I didn't have a column for, so it didn't match. I also have a company name that matched to my company column, email matched to email address, and then here's where it got our real only error. There's spouse and partner first name, and we don't have any spouses or partners listed. So in order to make sure it doesn't think there's a field that's matched there that it shouldn't have, I click on that drop down and click not matched. As you can see, if I wanted to match an additional field, I could just select it from here. And I believe that more or less does our field matches. I can then click here to remember this matching set for data sources on this computer. And what that would do is it would automatically make sure that it maintained this match sequence anytime I open this file. So whenever I opened up our mail merge override notice, it would automatically pull that data set that I've already selected with the fields matched that I've already selected as well. So I've got my greeting line all set up. So I'm going to click OK. And it'll insert that greeting line right where my cursor was listed. As you can see, it inserted it right here because my cursor was down there. That's not exactly what we wanted. So I'm going to backspace over it after I've selected that merge field and insert my greeting line up here. This time I'm going to use my merge field settings up above. I do that by highlighting the section that I want my greeting line to show and then clicking the greeting line insert option. Then I click OK because it maintains the same setup that I just had. And then I insert my greeting line. I can then backspace over all those X's. Now, if I wanted to go back in and edit the greeting line, I double click to highlight it. And then I can right click there and hit update field to update the match. I could also edit the greeting line to get back into the edit screen if I wanted to make any additional changes. As you can see, it already is inserting a comma here to separate things. I'm going to change that to a colon, hit OK, and that'll be my greeting line. Now I want to insert a bunch of custom lines. First, this section here, I want to insert the company, but as you can see, there's no quick link to just insert a merge for company. What I need to do then is highlight this selected area where I want to insert a merge field and click on this insert merge field drop-down option under mailings, right, and insert fields. And then I select the column that I wanted to insert. I select company and it inserts my company merge field here. You can tell that this is a merge field because one, when I click on it, it automatically highlights in gray. And two, it's surrounded by those greater than, less than signs. Any field that's surrounded by that is going to be a matched field in Word. Then I want to insert my notice status right here. And then I also wanted to insert my company contact name and the company contact number. And lastly, I'm going to insert the contact name again, just to have a signature. And that's basically all there is to it, honestly. There are two more steps left. The first being to preview our merge lists. If I hit next in the wizard, it automatically jumps into the preview results option up above. And this will show you a bunch of different examples. As I click through these arrows up here, it'll jump through my merge notices. And as you can see, all of those fields that I've got, as I click on them, it'll still show that they are there. But if I preview through it, I don't see any errors. So I don't see any issues with a match or anything. It all looks about correct. So this is probably good to go ahead and merge off of. I'm going to go ahead and click next to complete the merge. And it'll tell me, because I selected emails, I only have one option, and that's an electronic mail, a merge to email option. Then it brings up the mailing wizard. What that does is it tells me, how I want these messages to go out. For instance, I want the subject line to be overdue notice, or something like that. So I type that in the subject line section. This to dropdown is where I want the email addresses to pull from. So I'm going to select the email column that I had set up. And then I get to choose the mail format section here. Now I can choose plain text or HTML if I want to send all of these emails as just, general text on an email, or I can select attachment. What attachment will do is it will actually attach my email as a attachment and send it out to the address I have listed. So what this draft is that you see behind here would send as an attached Word document. I don't like that option personally because Word documents are very easy to edit, and I don't like the idea of sending someone a blank email with just the attachment, as you'll see. So I always select HTML. If you don't want people to think that you're sending them anything bad or sending them a virus, you can always choose plain text, and it will just send this email as a plain text document. But HTML is the standard. You can then select to send it to all records, send it just based on the current record that you're previewing, or choose a standard range of email email addresses. For instance, from 1 to 5 would be the first 5 email addresses that I have listed. I'm going to send all of them and hit OK. As you can see, it then runs through to the last email recipient there. And if I bring up my outbox over here, I'm just going to go ahead and delete all of these before my mail tries to actually send them. But I want to show you exactly how this pulls up. As you can see, it says from T. Levine, because that's my main email address. I can't actually choose to set it to send from a different email address unless I mess around with Outlook settings. I can choose a different email address if I have different ones from there to operate as, but it tends to want to merge to the primary email address you've got. I could just click on that drop down to change it though. Then it'll show the email address that it's sending to, the subject line. And as we can see, I've got all of my fields merged in a general letter here, signed by Miss Kitty Nibbler to Miss Kimmerose, which was the first entry. But as you can see, it didn't give me an option to attach an attachment. It did not give me an option to send a fully finalized version of this, so a non-editable version. And unless I had my Outlook not in offline mode or had a delay applied to all of my sent emails, it would just send. It wouldn't even give me a chance to really review them as they send out. Additionally, and I'm gonna just do the merge one more time to show you what'll happen if I do this. If I choose to maybe merge it as an attachment, this is what it'll look like. So instead of email, let's choose to send it as a attachment here. And I just want to do the current record. It first gives me a notice that another program is trying to send an email. I'm going to allow it to do that. Then it loads for a second. And if I open it up here, as you can see, it's just a blank email message. So in my mind, sending as an attachment kind of defeats the whole point of the mail merge. And then it opens up our docx as a finalized document there. So that's why I don't really like that option that much. There is one other option, however, and if you're trying to send it as a finalized attachment, this is my favorite. This option is the Merge to Adobe PDF section. If I click on that option as a merge, and I'm just going to send to all here, I specify a PDF file name. We're going to call this overdue notice. I'm going to automatically send these files by email to the email address. I'm going to type in my subject line, which is overdue notice. And then, this is why I like the PDF merge option, I get to type out whatever message I want on the PDFs. So I can type something like, please see the attached overdue notice. And reply by the end of the month. And then I could sign it Tom or whatever. And then I'm going to hit OK. And then it'll ask me for a location to save the PDFs we're going to be creating. I'm going to make a new folder under desktop called fake PDFs. And hit OK. So then it merges all of these PDFs to that fake PDF section, converts all of them, and it pops all the emails into my outbox. Once again, if I delete all these examples and open it up, we've got the email message I specified to the correct person. And if I open up the PDF, I have a finalized PDF of the overdue notice. The reason I also like this is if I have like a custom header and maybe like a custom watermark that I want to put on the page, if I send the emails this way, those will show up. That way I can send out a really finalized looking draft with an attached PDF notice that can't really be edited. So this is my preferred way to do a mail merge. But there is one more weak point of mail merge that I think can be addressed pretty easily, but is somewhat difficult sometimes. One thing I like to do after presentations like this is I like to send out an attachment to all of the attendees for the examples used. For instance, I'm going to do that at the end of this one to whoever attended. And because there's actual attachments that are not Word files alone or Excel files alone, I can't actually just attach those by doing a standard mail merge. What I can do, however, is send out emails with BCCs and attachments. Now, I don't need this mail merge Word option, and I don't need this, well, I do need this Excel data to show you, but I'm going to go ahead and start our email message here. I'm going to send it to myself, and the subject is going to be notice. Or actually, we're going to call this merge documents. Now, I don't need this section of my signature here, but I'm going to say thanks for attending. Attached are the docs. Now, if I then attach my files here that I'm intending to send, for instance, my merge data and my little draft here, then all I need is that email list of people I was trying to send these attachments to. My loophole here is actually to use an Excel formula. And the formula that I'm looking at specifically is called Concatenate. Now, this is kind of a creative use of the concatenate function, but what it does is it merges strings of email addresses together. And this is sort of my workaround to, in my mind, one of the few drawbacks of doing a mail merge, which is sending multiple attachments to a lot of different people when you don't want them to see everyone else's email address. Emails themselves all have an option called BCC. And if I pull that up, you see it right here. What that means is blind carbon copy. And what that does is anyone whose name is listed there gets a copy of the email and can see anyone who was CC'd on it, but none of the recipients can see who was in this BCC field. So if I have a quick way of getting a list of email addresses into that section, then I can just send all of these emails at once. If I had a list of contacts already made in Outlook, I could just type out the name of the list of contacts. For instance, we have a associated email address here for commissions. And if I wanted to send an email address to, like an email out to any one of our commissions people, I would send it to commissions@crnso.com. Everyone would see it. But because I don't have one for this list of clients, I would just have to make a long list of emails. Now, typically you would just copy, paste, add the separator for emails, which is a semicolon, and then copy the next one, and clumsily not try to click things, and try to maybe paste just the text. And as you can see, it's already a little klutzy for me even to do. And just get a list like that, and then copy and paste all of it. But there is a quicker way, and that uses a function that is not even nested. We're going to do this two different ways. I like to type out my formulas, but I find it's a little easier to understand using the automatic function wizard. So we're going to use a concatenate function. Going back, if you're trying to find it and you don't see it in your more function section, type concatenate or concat and hit go, and then just select concatenate. What this does is it merges a bunch of different text options together. For instance, our first concatenate is just going to be our email address here. And then we're going to hit OK. Here's where our formula actually kind of takes place. We're going to concatenate first the email address or addresses from above. Then we're going to insert our separator in a space. And then we're going to insert the email address from the left, and then hit OK. What I did there is I clicked on E2 for text 1, which is my first email address, then a separator, and then E3, which is the next email down. Now, if I drag this formula all the way down, what I end up getting, and I'm just going to widen this column to show you a bit, is every iteration of this function just adds another email address to that list. If I copy and paste values on the last column, as you can see, I now have an entire list of all the emails that I was going to send this out to. And I can just copy, go to my new email, paste that in the BCC section, and it'll send an email with all of the attachments to all of the respective addresses that I've listed in BCC, and they won't be able to see each other. The other way to do this, which is just typing out a formula instead of using the wizard, is to type equals 1 over for that, and then equals concatenate. I believe I spelled that right. And then you click E2, comma, in quotation marks, you're going to have your separator in space, comma, and then your next input. And then you'll drag that down same way, copy, paste values, and you've got your list. That's generally how I like to use mail merge and how I like to send mass emails. I know today was a little bit shorter than our last one as well, but that's generally how I like to do mail merges and how I like to get around some of the inconveniences that it can have as well. If you have any other questions related to mail merge, please feel free to let me know. But in the meantime, to let you know about some of our upcoming webinars. As you can see, we don't have a Tech Tuesday in 2 weeks. We will be, however, having a Tech Tuesday in 4 weeks, and that's going to be on future tech. That one is going to kind of focus on things that are coming up maybe in the next year or two, and then kind of some far future technology as well. Additionally, tomorrow we'll have Around the Horn on the individual corner with Jeff Baglin and Eric Pouncey Jr., and I believe they are going to cover some changes and some of the big things coming up for fourth quarter in the individual section of business. Also, we have a Build Your Brand coming next week on 9/15, and that will be on the fundamental marketing strategies as well. So stay tuned for that. Actually, I'm sorry, that's in 2 weeks, I believe, or a little longer. But either way, feel free to attend those. Once again, I'm Tom Levine, Cornerstone's Tech Guru. Stay safe, everyone, and feel free to ask me any other questions. Thanks, and have a wonderful day.